Hello people, welcome back to my channel Study with Tandu, and this is another lecture on the subject of human resource management. And in this video we will be discussing about selection test, its meaning and its different types of tests in detail. Okay, we'll be discussing different types of tests in detail. First, let us understand the meaning of selection test. Okay, a psychological test is conducted to evaluate some set of skills and capabilities of a candidate which are supposed to be there for a successful job outcome as per the job analysis. The purpose of conducting the test is to easily and accurately evaluate the difference between the job-related capacities and skills of individual. According to Cronbach, a test is a systematic procedure of comparing the behavior of two or more persons. Okay, so if we want a job outcome to be successful, okay, the candidate should have a good knowledge and skill to perform efficiently, right? So we conduct a psychological test. So what we conduct a psychological test to evaluate and also to understand how far he is good enough to perform the job. Okay, so why we conduct this test? To compare the difference between the capacities of the individuals. Okay, for suppose for there is one job. Okay, there is one job vacancy for just 10 candidates applications we got. Okay, so here we don't know the individual's capacities, their skills. Okay, we don't know the capacities, their skills and their knowledge, right? So once we conduct a psychological test, based on that test result we can analyze the individual's behavior, their capacity, their skills. Okay, individuals of their skills, their knowledge, we can understand it, we can easily compare it. Okay, according to Cronbach, okay, so according to him, what is a selection test? A test is a systematic approach or a systematic procedure for comparing the behavior of two or more persons. Same here, it's a systematic procedure for comparing the behavior of two or more persons. Okay, so by comparing, we can understand who is better than who, right? So there are different types of tests here. So what are the different types of tests, which is very important? First is aptitude test, second is achievement test, situational test, interest test, and personality test. So these are the 5 different types of tests we have. Let us understand one by one in detail. First is aptitude test. Let us understand what is aptitude test. This test aims at evaluating the capacity of an individual and indicate how proper a person would be able to perform after training, and not what individual has done. It helps us to analyze the future ability and performance of a person. So the most important part of aptitude test is what knowledge you have, what knowledge or skill you have till now, till present, what knowledge you have, what skills you have is not at all considered. Okay, is not at all considered. For suppose if the organization provide training to the candidate, like after that we conduct a test based on the training provided, right? So then that test is known as aptitude test. Got it? So once you have come out after your academics, okay, from your college, that theory knowledge is not at all considered. Whatever knowledge you have, that is not at all considered to some extent. Okay, so what organization will do is they will provide a training first. Okay, they will be checking your knowledge, what you have learned, what till now in your academics, they will be checking your knowledge. But here, after the training they provide, after the organization provides training to you, then after training you will be also asked to take a test based on the training. Okay, based on the training provided, then that test is known as aptitude test. Okay, that we called it as aptitude test. Hope you guys understand. And also suppose like if you have joined in any online course. Okay, so if you have joined any online course, so after completing the course obviously you will be asked to take a test, right? Then that test is known as aptitude test, to understand how far you have learned it. Hope you got it, right? So here there are different types of aptitude test here. First is intelligence test, mechanical test, psychomotor test, and clerical test. So let us also understand this again. What are those intelligence and mechanical test, psychomotor test, and clerical test? First is intelligence test. The main objective of this test is to evaluate various mental tasks like reasoning, comprehension, and judgment. Its main aim is to get a basic idea about an individual's mental ability. So in intelligence test, we measure the IQ level of the candidate. Okay, what we measure? We measure the IQ level of the candidate. Here we can analyze the mental ability of the individual by structuring the task like reasoning, comprehension, and judgmental task, etc. Right, so see in every competitive exams we can see this logical and reasoning test, right? So reasoning test will help us to evaluate the mental ability of the candidate. Next we have mechanical test. This test helps us to evaluate the capacity of an individual, his spatial visualization, perceptual speed to solve mechanical problems, and this tests are useful when selection is to be made for apprentices, mechanical employees, technicians, etc. C. This test will check the perceptual speed of the candidate. Okay, perceptual speed of the candidate means how fast he can learn just by watching the things. Okay, just by watching the things, how fast he can learn it. For example, let us talk about a plumber. Okay, let us talk about a plumber. How a plumber learns his work by joining under an experienced plumber, right? And by watching him work daily, he will learn it, right? So basically, it's learning the things by watching and observing. Okay, these tests are conducted to those who are into mechanical background, civil background, technicians, etc. Got it? Next, we have psychomotor test. This test assists in taking decisions on the abilities like mental skills and motor ability and mind and coordination of the candidate. This test are considered for selecting workers who are semi-skilled for the jobs like packing, testing, examinations, etc. Fine. This test helps us to check the coordination and mind of the candidate. Okay, so they are talking about mind and coordination of the candidate here. So generally, how far he's capable enough to cope up and mingle with the people in the organization, and how well he control his mind. These tests are conducted to those who are semi-skilled, means not having total knowledge. Okay, so semi-skilled means half knowledge people. They don't have proper knowledge, good knowledge about that particular um, area. Okay, so we can say it as area or on a particular work. Okay, so they are being selected for a repetitive operation. So for those kind of people, we select for repetitive operations like for packing, testing the things, examinations, etc. For this type of work, you need to be very careful, right? So this is psychomotor test. Okay, next is clerical test. So this test are conducted for the purpose of recognizing the candidates who are capable of working actively and perfectly in administrative roles. This test includes the items like spelling, computation, comprehension, copying, word measuring, etc. So in clerical test, see, organization uses test while hiring people for clerical jobs like for cashiers, warehouse workers, or for bank jobs, etc. Where high concentration and accuracy is most important because see, any mistake in billing or in accounting or any on shipping information will cause a big loss to the organization, right? So it is very important to be careful to the candidate to perform all these things. Yes, so this is clerical test. What this test contains spelling check, checking the spellings, computation, word measuring, okay, copying, etc. These all things will be included. Next. So next we have achievement test. Okay, second test is achievement test. It is a standardized test which evaluates the knowledge level of an individual in a specific field. This test mainly focuses on the knowledge of an individual with respect to a particular topic or subject. See, whatever job you do, okay, whatever your job you do or whatever field you study, it will measure your existing knowledge, what knowledge you have in what area of field you are expertise in. It will measure that. Okay, for example, if you have studied computer science, okay, it will measure your knowledge in computer science. Okay, so there are two types of achievement test here. First is job knowledge test and work sample test. Okay, so let us understand what is job knowledge test and work sample test. Job knowledge test. Job knowledge test evaluates an individual knowledge level pertaining to a specific job. See, according to job requirement, what knowledge you have according to particular job, to what extent you are good at that particular job. It will be checking here. For example, let us take the example and understand this point. If you are trying for a junior lecturer job, for suppose if you are trying for a junior lecturer job in computer science department, okay, so then people won't directly give the job to you, right? He is supposed to take a test here of job related knowledge, right? Where he may require answering some questions like technical questions, programming questions, operating system questions, etc. He will be asked some few questions here. He need to answer it, right? So this is a job knowledge test. Okay, next is work sample test. This test involves assigning a part of actual work to a candidate in the form of a test, and the candidate is required to do it. Okay, so by reading this we can understand it, right? So let us understand this by above example only. So in the job knowledge test, the candidate is asked only questions to test his knowledge, but here he will be asked to deliver a lecture on some topic as a demo. Okay, so this is work sample test. You are just uh, doing a part of a job as a demo. Okay, so this is a sample test. This is work sample test. Hope you guys understand it. Next is situational test. Okay, this is very important. Situational test. Situational tests are designed to evaluate the candidate in similar real-time situation. This test have an assumption of locating people in a particular situation and observing the reactions in order to learn how people respond to that particular situation. Here, the candidate will be given a real-time situation, okay, and ask them to handle it. There we can observe how candidate is responding to that particular situation and how the candidate is coping up with that situation and how he handles that particular critical situations. Okay, so these are all factors we can observe in the candidate during this test. Okay, and this test again categorized into two types. First is group discussion and in basket. Let us understand this group discussion and in basket. Group discussion. Okay, so let us understand this group discussion. This test is administered through a group discussion approach to solve a problem under which a candidate are observed in the areas of initiating, leading, proposing valuable ideas, conciliating skills, oral communication skills, coordinating and concluding skills. See, generally we all know what is group discussion, right? So a group of 5 or 6 candidates will be gathered, right, and they will be given one topic and ask them to discuss among themselves, right, and one interviewer will be observing everyone in group, like how the candidate are initiating it, means how they are initiating, means how what we say, it means like taking a quick action to start, how they are taking a quick action and how they are leading it and who are proposing good ideas, who is having good communication skills, right? So everything will be observed here. So who is having good conclusion skills, means how good you are ending the topic here. So everything will be observed here. Okay, so this is group discussion. And next is in basket. In basket means the candidate in this test is supplied with the actual letters, telephone and telegraphic message, reports and requirements by various officers of the organizations, adequate information of the job and the organization. The candidate is required to determine some of the things on the basis of in basket information pertaining to the requirement revealed in the message. Let us understand it. Here in this test, the officers in the organization will provide some proper information, okay, proper information regarding the job in the form of letters, in the form of telephone, telegraphic message, reports, etc., right? And the candidate should go through it and understand it properly about all the information provided by them and ask him, see, this is our problem in the organization, please try to solve it. Okay, so here we can observe how he's going to handle that particular situation and how he's going to solve the organization problem. This is in basket. Got it? Next is interest test. Okay, so these tests are designed to identify the person's areas of interest and also the kind of work that will satisfy him. So the main objective of this test is to identify the candidate interest or disinterest in the job offered to him. This test has an assumption that interest of the candidates in a job is highly correlated with the success of that job. Hope you understand by reading this, right? So this test helps us to identify in which particular area you are interested in, so that according to your interest, job will be assigned to you. Because if you get a job which you are interested in, then you will get a job satisfaction, right? So they will observe whether you are interested in technical job or you are interested in operations job or any other clerical jobs. Okay, and if you achieve a job which you are interested in, then ultimately the success of the job will be high. Okay, so that is directly related to the success of the job. Okay, next we have personality test. Okay, so this test are also known as personality inventories. So this test are designed to measure the dimensions of personality, that is personality traits. Okay, personality traits. Personality trait means such as self-confidence, okay, skills, emotional control, hopefulness, certainty, friendliness, consistency, tolerance level, fear, doubt, initiative, judgment, dominance level, submission, spontaneity, reliability, and firmness. So in this test, we get to observe the behavior of the candidate, or we can see the personality trait of the candidate. Okay, like whether he is self-confidence or not, his skills, how he control his emotions, his hopefulness, his friendliness, okay, his consistency level, his tolerance level, okay, his fear, his doubt, his initiative, his dominance level, everything, his firmness, reliability, everything we are going to observe. Again, here we have two types. First is objective test and second one is projective test. First is objective test. Okay, so this test are prepared in a structural form as the subject is having a limited choices available to answer any question. This test are aimed at evaluating the mental ability, independence, submission, and self-confidence of the candidate. See, in this objective test, Generally the test contains in the form of questionnaires, okay, means like we can say MCQs, right? So you will be given a multiple choice questions, or you will be having true or false options to choose anyone, right? So based on the answer we can evaluate the mental ability, his independence level, his self confidence also we can observe here. Okay, we all know, for suppose if you have taken this test anywhere, we'll get to know. Okay, next is projective test. This test provides an unstructured task and asks the candidate to take a decision by utilizing the test stimulus, which may be a vague or unclear. So this test evaluates the personality of the individual. Okay, so it will evaluate the personality of the individual in an indirect way. For example, the candidate is required to answer what he is noticing on the piece of paper. They will be given a piece of paper. There you will be having some pictures or anything, and they'll ask what he's noticing. Or you will be getting a card showing some any unclear picture, and to create one story by seeing that picture. Okay, by seeing that particular unclear picture of some people in a particular environment. Okay, you'll be given a card with unclear environment picture, and you will ask to create a story about that picture. Okay, so this test helps to understand the personality of the individual and psychological functioning, mainly the psychological functioning of him, right? So hope you understand this topic very well about objective test, projective test. Okay, so we have 5 different types of test here, that is aptitude test, achievement test, right? Next is situational test, interest test, and personality test. Got it? So this is all about different types of test. So let's wind up this video here and continue in the next part. Till then, take care, bye bye, and thank you for watching this video. So for more such related topics of human resource management, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.